today I'll be talking about my capstone project, As the Snow Falls. So before I get into my project, I want to quickly go over the topic of my project, which is maladaptive daydreaming. It's a mental health issue that has been defined as a persistent, compulsive activity that causes great distress and impairs an individual's everyday functioning. Maladaptive daydreaming is characterized by prolonged fantasizing, often used as escapism from daily life and some traumas that the person may be experiencing or has experienced but did not process yet. It leads to distress, depression, and social withdrawal. So my story is As the Snow Falls. It's a decision story game where you're placed in the shoes of Rain, a girl who daydreams compulsively or experiences maladaptive daydreaming, and it's your job to help with her journey. Either depending on your decisions, you drive her further into her daydreams, or you can help her to see reality. It's set in a mixture of urban and natural settings, as well as more odd dreamlike locations with some fantastical elements. It's inspired by projects like Alice Madness Returns, Life is Strange, and the Silent Hill franchise. So the mission of my project, it aims to foster a deeper connection between players and the issue of maladaptive daydreaming by employing a narrative that explores escapism, grief, and isolation, all often experienced by individuals with MD, by featuring a relatable protagonist, particularly to young adults, which is the largest category experiencing maladaptive daydreaming. The game becomes more memorable, thus assisting in raising awareness about maladaptive daydreaming and reducing the stigma surrounding it. Moving on to the project's development process. So the project began as a goal to raise awareness and dissipate the stigma around maladaptive daydreaming, a subject that has been long misunderstood. The goal was to show individuals what it's like to experience it, how vivid the daydreams can be, and how they can suck you into your mind and away from real surroundings. This goal could be successfully met by an interactive gaming experience that allows individuals to not only perceive the daydreams, but make decisions to affect their narrative and see the results of those decisions by different game endings or different directions that the game takes as you go along. So since the game is a decision-based game, of course I have to plan these decisions using a decision tree, which was one of the first steps along with writing the script. I wrote down all of the decisions in the game and where each one leads. In order to ensure the accuracy of my portrayal of maladaptive daydreaming, of course I researched the topic thoroughly, and a survey was also shared with individuals experiencing maladaptive daydreaming to gather insight regarding the validity of the project's concept and to learn more about maladaptive daydreaming firsthand from people who experience it. These were my key survey results. So when participants were asked how many times do you daydream per day, 44.4% answered that they daydream 5 times per day or more. The other 55.5% had custom answers, stating things like the daydreams don't really end, they just continue throughout their day while they do other tasks. Or some people said that they lost track of how many times. And when they were asked, do you have full control over the daydreams, 55.5% of participants had mixed answers on whether or not they can control their daydreams. So, based on their experience, daydreaming sessions were said to last from 20 minutes to 4 to 6 hours. And participants felt happy and at ease during these sessions, but experienced disappointment and emptiness or stress after due to the time spent daydreaming. As I stated before, participants reported vivid sensory experiences, so the daydreams were very immersive. They could feel real emotions and feel deeply connected to the storylines of the daydreams. And much like my game's narrative, the daydreams often featured participants as main characters set in various scenarios, like exploring self-made fantasy worlds. So the next step after research was to plan the game narrative, sketch out characters, and create a storyboard. These are some of my initial sketches for the game characters and environments. Here are some key storyboard frames. And after came the illustration of the scenes and characters, brand development, and compiling and editing scenes. So these are some like fully colored and illustrated scenes. These are some logo sketches and planning the color palette of the brand overall. And here's a screenshot of some of the editing that I did in Adobe After Effects. So the last steps were to program the game in the Godot game engine, to finalize brand elements and the brand guideline, and create advertisement material like the brochure and the posters.